Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and shatter a pretty dangerous misconception right out of the gate. A lot of folks think steady-state voltage compliance automatically guarantees a healthy grid. Like for anyone managing high-voltage operations, you might think as long as your voltage readings fall within their legal bands, say that plus or minus 6% tolerance on a 66 kilovolt network, you're perfectly fine, right? Well, absolutely not. That is literally only half the story.
So here's the real myth versus reality check. Your voltage can sit perfectly within its legal plus or minus 6% band, and your installation, it can still be utterly non-compliant. Why? Because clean power is about waveform shape and balance too, not just magnitude. You could have the exact right amount of voltage, but if it's being delivered in this inefficient, lopsided way, you are creating a massive headache for the wider grid.
And this is a crucial point. A nice, clean, smooth sine wave can really easily degrade into a distorted, jagged mess of electrical pollution. And we aren't just talking about some abstract theory here. This distorted power quietly cooks your transformers, it overheats induction motors, and it trips sensitive protection equipment years before anyone actually notices why. It's this totally invisible stressor on the infrastructure. So to protect the grid from that unseen damage, regulators have to look way beyond simple voltage boundaries.
To stop all that electrical pollution, 3 more parameters get tightly regulated: power factor, total harmonic distortion, and phase imbalance. Each one basically caps a very specific type of grid damage. If you want to connect to the grid, you've got to manage all 3 of these pillars of clean power. Now for today's explainer, we're going to focus entirely on the first, and honestly perhaps most heavily monitored parameter of the bunch: power factor.
Power factor simply measures how efficiently your load uses the current it draws. I like to think of it kind of like a symphony orchestra playing in a huge concert hall. The beautiful music that actually reaches the audience and does the work of entertaining them, that's your active power. But then you've got all the backstage noise, right? Musicians tuning instruments, stagehands dragging chairs around. That's your reactive power. It takes up space in the hall, sure, but it doesn't entertain the audience at all. Power factor basically filters out that wasted backstage noise so you aren't eating up valuable transmission capacity with inefficient current.
Now, the regulatory rulebook actually explicitly defines these power factor limits based entirely on your installation type. For instance, generators have to maintain a capability of 0.95 leading to 0.85 lagging right at their terminals. Got a grid-connected solar plant of a megawatt or larger? You're operating between 0.9 leading and 0.9 lagging. But for high-voltage consumers, there's a hard floor of 0.85, and let me tell you, this is the one that catches people out all the time.
Let's actually test this with a quick real-world scenario. Imagine you're inspecting a proposed connection for a high-voltage industrial consumer. They're planning to run some heavy, uncorrected induction motors, drawing current at a power factor of 0.78. So, quick check. Would this connection get approved for energization under the transmission code?
The answer is a definitive hard no. 0.78 falls well below that strict 0.85 consumer floor we just talked about. This facility would literally just be actively wasting grid capacity. So they must physically install power factor correction capacitors to fix the electrical math at their own boundary before they ever get the green light. You can't just pay a fine and run inefficient equipment. It just doesn't work that way.
So before this, you knew the voltage variation limits. Now you've got the power factor requirements locked in by installation type. You're completely safe now, right? Actually, not even close. What happens when your equipment starts physically mutating the actual shape of the electrical wave itself? Up next in part 2, we're going to unpack the harmonic distortion ladder and phase imbalance rules. Because you really have to wonder, just how much pure pollution can a power grid swallow before the physical infrastructure literally starts shaking itself apart? Join me in the next explainer and we'll find out.